Wales is often described in simple terms, a country on the western side of Britain, famous for mountains, castles, rugby, coal, and a language full of double letters. But that description barely scratches the surface. Wales, or Cymru in Welsh, is one of the 4 countries of the United Kingdom, yet it has a story, identity, and political evolution that are distinctly its own. It is small in area, with just over 21,000 square kilometers, and home to about 3.2 million people as of 2021. But its coastline stretches for more than 2,700 kilometers, wrapping around peninsulas, bays, ports, beaches, and cliffs. To understand Wales, you have to see it as both connected and separate, tied to England and the wider United Kingdom, but shaped by its own geography, language, and memory. Geographically, Wales sits on the island of Great Britain, bordered by England to the east and surrounded elsewhere by water, the Irish Sea to the north and west, the Bristol Channel to the south, and the Celtic Sea to the southwest. This position has always mattered. The long western coastline connected Welsh communities to seafaring, fishing, migration, and trade, while the mountainous interior made movement more difficult and helped preserve regional identities. Unlike the broad lowlands found in parts of England, much of Wales is rugged, upland, and dramatic. Its highest summit is Snowdon, known in Welsh as Yr Wydfa, located in the mountainous north. These landscapes are not just scenery, they influenced where people settled, how communities survived, and why some areas remained culturally distinct for centuries. Wales has a maritime climate, which means the surrounding seas soften temperatures but also bring frequent changes in weather. Rain, mist, wind, and sudden breaks of sunlight are part of the Welsh landscape. This climate helped create green pastures, river valleys, and grazing land, but it also made agriculture challenging in the highlands. The country lies in the North Temperate Zone, so it avoids extremes of heat and cold, yet its weather can feel unpredictable from hour to hour. That changeability has shaped everyday life, architecture, farming, and even tourism. The same rain that frustrates hikers also feeds waterfalls, forests, reservoirs, and the lush hills that have become central to the image of Wales. The roots of Welsh identity go back to the Celtic Britons. After the Roman withdrawal from Britain in the 5th century, political authority fragmented across the island. In the west, a distinct Welsh culture emerged among communities who spoke Brittonic languages and maintained traditions different from the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms expanding in the east. The word Wales itself comes from an Old English term used for foreigners or Romanized Britons, while Cymru comes from a Welsh word meaning something like fellow countrymen. That difference is revealing. One name was given from the outside, the other grew from within. Over time, poetry, law, genealogy, Christianity, and local kingship all helped sustain a Welsh sense of peoplehood, even when political unity was difficult. Medieval Wales was not usually a single unified state. It was a patchwork of kingdoms and lordships, often competing with one another while also resisting pressure from outside powers. One of the most significant moments came in 1055, when Griffith ap Llywelyn briefly united Wales under his rule. His achievement showed that a united Welsh polity was possible, but it did not last. The geography that protected local identities also made central control difficult. Mountain ranges, valleys, and regional loyalties created a political landscape where power was often local. This helped Wales preserve distinct traditions, but it also made it vulnerable when confronted by a larger and more centralized neighbor, the Kingdom of England. The conquest of Wales by England was a long and violent process, not a single event. After more than 2 centuries of conflict, King Edward I completed the conquest in 1283. He built a chain of massive castles, especially in the north, to project English power and control strategic locations. These castles were not just military structures, they were political messages in stone. Yet conquest did not erase Welsh identity. In the early 15th century, Owain Glyndwr led a major revolt against English rule. For a brief period, he re-established an independent Welsh state and created a national parliament, or Senedd. Although the revolt eventually failed, Glwyndwr became one of the great symbols of Welsh resistance and national aspiration. In the 16th century, Wales was formally annexed and incorporated into the English legal system through the Laws in Wales Acts of 1535 and 1542. These acts created administrative unity with England and brought Wales into the framework of English law and governance. On one level, this integration opened pathways for Welsh elites within the English and later British state. On another, it reduced the formal political separateness of Wales for centuries. The Welsh language remained widely spoken, but English became increasingly associated with law, administration, and social advancement. Wales did not disappear, but it existed in a complicated position, culturally distinct, legally absorbed, and politically represented through systems designed around England. The Industrial Revolution transformed Wales more dramatically than almost anything before it. Before industrialization, much of the country was agricultural, with rural communities shaped by livestock, local markets, chapels, and seasonal rhythms. Then mining and metallurgy expanded, especially in the South Wales coalfield. Coal, iron, steel, and slate connected Wales to global industrial networks. Valleys that had been rural became crowded industrial communities. Ports grew. Railways spread. The population rose rapidly as workers moved toward mines, furnaces, and docks. South Wales became one of the engines of industrial Britain. But this transformation came at a cost: dangerous labor, environmental damage, economic dependence on extractive industries, and communities vulnerable to boom and bust cycles. Modern Wales is unevenly populated, and that pattern reflects both geography and industrial history. About 2/3 of the population live in South Wales, including Cardiff, Swansea, Newport, and the nearby valleys. Cardiff, the capital and largest city, grew from a port connected to coal exports into a political, cultural, and economic centre. Swansea and Newport also developed around industry and trade. In North Wales, the eastern region contains around 1/6 of the national population, with Wrexham as the largest northern city. Elsewhere, large areas remain sparsely populated, especially in upland and rural regions. This creates a country of contrasts: urban south, industrial valleys, rural west, Welsh-speaking heartlands, and mountainous north. The decline of coal, steel, and other heavy industries reshaped Wales again in the 20th century. Communities built around mines and factories faced unemployment, social disruption, and the challenge of reinventing local economies. Today, the public sector, service industries, light industry, and tourism play major roles. Wales attracts visitors with national parks, coastlines, castles, heritage railways, and historic towns. Agriculture remains important too, especially livestock farming. Welsh agriculture is largely animal-based, and Wales is a net exporter of animal produce, contributing to wider agricultural self-sufficiency. But the economic story is not just about replacing coal with tourism. It is about how places built around one industrial system adapt when that system disappears. Welsh politics developed its own character in the 19th and 20th centuries. In the late Victorian and Edwardian eras, Welsh liberalism was powerful, represented most famously by David Lloyd George, who became Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Over time, the rise of industrial labour and working-class politics helped shift Wales towards socialism and the Labour Party. At the same time, Welsh national consciousness grew stronger. Plaid Cymru, a nationalist party, was formed in 1925, seeking greater recognition for Wales as a nation. In 1962, Synditha's Year Iaith Gymreg, the Welsh Language Society, was founded to campaign for the rights and visibility of Welsh speakers. Politics in Wales became about class, language, identity, and power all at once. One of the biggest modern political changes was devolution. In 1998, the National Assembly for Wales was created, later becoming the Senedd, or Welsh Parliament. Devolution did not make Wales independent, but it gave Welsh institutions responsibility for a range of policy areas. This matters because it allows decisions on certain domestic issues to be made in Wales, with Welsh priorities in mind. The Senedd also symbolizes the return of a national political forum, echoing older memories such as Owain Glwndwr's Parliament, though in a very different constitutional context. Wales remains part of the United Kingdom, but it now has a clearer political voice and a more visible democratic structure of its own. Language is central to Welsh identity. Both Welsh and English are official languages, and most people in Wales speak English. But Welsh remains a living language, not just a relic. It is dominant in parts of the north and west, and across the country there are about 538,300 Welsh speakers. The survival of Welsh is remarkable because many minority languages in Europe weakened severely under pressure from state systems, migration, education policy, and economic change. In Wales, campaigns for language rights, Welsh medium education, broadcasting, and public visibility helped strengthen its position. The language carries place names, poetry, music, memory, and a sense of continuity. To hear Welsh spoken is to hear one of Britain's oldest cultural threads still alive. Wales is small, but its significance is much larger than its size. It is a country of ancient roots and modern institutions, of mountains and ports, of rural communities and post-industrial cities. Its 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 3 of them in the north, reflect a landscape layered with conquest, industry, and cultural heritage. Wales has been conquered, annexed, industrialized, deindustrialized, and politically reawakened, yet it continues to maintain a distinct national identity inside the United Kingdom. Its story is not simply about separation or union, decline or revival. It is about endurance, a country shaped by pressure from outside and resilience from within, still speaking in its own voice. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.